I'm working on the Decolonising Your Body Masterclass for next weekend, the 24th of Feb. And I've been working with clients as well in and around, resolving and healing trauma within the body. And what has been coming up really quite frequently is this inner critic voice that we all have, that is that none of us are immune to. This cognitive process, this cognitive voice that comes into hold and often monopolise the spaces that we're in and our experiences that we're in day to day, moment to moment, to create safety. So this voice comes in to create a sense of ground, stability, reliability, holding in places and spaces, relationships and experiences where we're feeling vulnerable, where we don't have like a map of the land, where we've been triggered in our, from a previous or current trauma. We've been triggered in our nervous system, and we kind of go into this automatic nervous system response. And the cognitive comes in, and there's lots of other things in the context of the cognitive, this inner critic. But the inner critic, the cognitive comes in and creates this holding of security and safety. And it's something that's built in to everybody, that we all have, that prevents us. Initially, it comes in to provide safety, but it prevents us from actually touching on and getting in contact with the body, bodily experiences, which will be often very different to what the cognitive is actually playing out. So this inner critic, this cognitive process, will have story attached to it. And we know that with emotions, if we don't attach story to emotions, when they're present, it takes 90 seconds in order to move that emotion. That emotion will move if we don't attach story, a cognitive story to it, within 90 seconds. So if we sit with it, we give it space, we give it holding, we validate it without attaching story, it will shift within 90 seconds. So when this inner critic comes in and attaches story to the experience, to the bodily experience, and then we start running with the story. And so that emotion is not then resolved in 90 seconds. It continues on, and it becomes quite chronic, because as the emotion is present in the body and the cognitive, the inner critic, is running the show, we are listening to the inner critic, and we are not actually in contact with the body. So we're unable to resolve what is happening within the body. The body is having a somatic experience, and the process that's needing to take place within the body is stunted, is stopped, because this cognitive process, this inner critic, is trying to create safety. And the one thing this inner critic doesn't want is safety within the body, doesn't want you to touch in on the body, because there's no safety in the body. So when we touch into the body, this inner critic comes in. It tells you no, for various different reasons, because the neurological pathway for you has been created that when something is touched in the body, you have a cognitive response, which is generally the inner critic, which attaches a story and keeps you in this safe perimeter, which is a cognitive process. So the body's sensations and experiences and emotions are suppressed to keep this experience in a place for you of safety, that you're protected and that it's manageable. So when we start working with the inner critic, we actually when we start externalizing that voice and externalizing those cognitive processes, then we start to get some space in between the cognitive process and the body's experience. And we start to then build safety and capacity and ground in the body, in order for the body to resolve any process that it has had presently or in the past that has remained stuck and in frozen in the body. So when we're decolonising the body, we're actually going in and we're doing decolonisation work through the felt sense of the body, instead of the narrative, instead of the cognitive process.